Okay, so YouTube, Spotify, and T-Mobile and Uvu. So right now we just wanted to make a Comcast broadcasting site for these types of programs. So you have a progressive amount of acknowledgeability that goes toward these companies, and what to look for as far as your future investments, and how to include bonus packages in for something that you love or something that you're interested in. So all of that is just based off of Amazon Prime and Amazon Relay and Amazon in general. So you're using a fulfillment center, and showing that it's inspired by Amazon and it has these credentials in it. It's just a big part of DWL's industries at the time, and that's what collects and collaborates those together as we combine like terms and use separation of powers, and gain process of elimination from different chapters to different departments. That's basically where we're using more of Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July, Independence Day, and it's basically where you're using these companies more than 934 times. So this is just a bigger transition for most midpoints and sub points of suburb programs, and that's basically where you got the whole um what was that called? But anyways, yeah, you working with these and Comcast satellites, and that's basically where you're just passing by those locations that could be fused with that Comcast um, subscription on it, and that's basically where you're using more of information and notification of what's going on in the century or in the decade of the year. What's more about your 70s or what's more about your 80s that you don't know, that you can have a bigger satisfaction on as you know more about world history and social studies, and many more different history types. And, that's basically where you're working on how to urbanize in aerospace and astrology, and being able to compatibilate with Milky Way and the heliocentric theory of how the solar systems move around and how they orbit the Milky Way. And it's basically where you're working with not only heliocentric theory but free trade, which is how you get more of an investment of yourself. And that's basically what we're working on here today, is a bigger square equilibrium where we can cancellate a lot of bad bad we can cancellate a lot of bad negativity, and promote a lot of good intention. So that's basically where we want to be able to promote that most of the time, and that's primarily what you're seeing as we passing through 936 hours of Mr. Catfish and more, and using more of its advantage of having the career of your life with the accessories that you need of your life. And it's pretty much everybody's special type of organization as we incline on these types of futures. And it's just amazing what you'll get when you figure out more about what these types of programs could do for you. And That's basically where you want to be able to intrigue your 939 dime deposit, and understand that you get more than 3 dimes of deposit as you include these types of programs. So that's automatically $30,000 going down, on $30 of $3,000, and it's basically where how you using $315 a month to promote these details. So it's basically where you're using more accessibility. You're using more accessibility to broadcast those things on Comcast satellites, and that's all a part of the Harlem Renaissance, which was in 1908 to 1968, and as part of air flight aviation, which is in today's channels of 2021 and 2068. So you're still looking at movies like iRobot, or those urban Dr. Seuss books, Goosebumps. Got even the Polar Express and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in there as well. And we basically see that in these propositions as we get more into those effects, and understanding more of its $100 bill worth. And it's basically where you're using a 10 and a 20 to promote these details majority of the time. But other than it being a natural 255.20 deal, that's basically what the 20 of this selection means in a net worth. So other than that, that's just the luck of a natural 20, instead of 100. But we use 100 instead to promote these types of configuration, because that is a lot of that is a full amount of money right there. That's about as full as the money can get at a certain square equilibrium. And mines is a perfect look of that spectacular or specified analysis. So just like Infinity will make their own parts to make their own vehicles. They get their products in just to be manufactured. So that's basically working on their 100, and being able to provide that for the consumers and the passengers that drive those Infinities. So this is where EcoLeaf is more impassioned, is more towards Infinity of enterprise, and it's basically where it learns its car salesman dealerships from, and that's basically where it's been getting this total positive acknowledgement from. And it's basically where you getting enterprise, max preps, huddle, it's even going with EcoHerb, where you getting your random car like an Equinox, and it can go between 2014s or 2022s, and you can easily set down at least $23,930 on that. And it's pretty much, so it's pretty much going either between you want to pay the whole payment, or you want to make a majority rule payment. And that's basically where my statistics have gone so far on these codes. And being able to pay the bill majority of the time, being able to pay the prominent bill pay is what we're looking for at 971%. So that's basically where you're using $100 bill to promote more of a full pay. And we recently got down to a reduced tax method where this could fill up the $100 bill, and this basically can be the end of 1899 and be the beginning of 1999 to 2033. And this could be a new start of how you count money. versus tens and twenties. You counting twenties and hundreds, and that's basically where you're using a 1950 to 1980 scale of living at the time. So that's basically where you're using January to September of 1944 to 2014, and it's basically where you're using more privilege promotions at the time. So you're using this code 330 times, 300 times, 331 times. So all in all, you're using your mode rates to promote the hundreds that you want to use, whether it's in a 20 net worth or in a 50 net worth. And that just promotes it being, whether it's 230, whether you want it to be $230 or you want it to be $230. And that's basically where you're looking at 2300s versus 230 20s. So you're going different portions of the way of the map, of the coordinate map, of the measuring chart, and of the periodic table. And that's pretty much how you're bonusing up measurements for this calculation, and being able to promote more sufficiency for the $100 bill as you promote more consumption rates for the $100 bill as you're getting down the road of 9,834 hours of promotion. So with that being said, you shouldn't need as much money as that promotes if it's not the general management area. The district management level that I'm critiquing and that I'm involved with and that I promote only accepts the fact that you making enough money for time investments, and being able to use more for your sufficiency within the gaps that you normally would have a break or a space in between not knowing what to do. So it's just making sure you have a clear mind of having 384 dimes being progress at the time, and being able to promote more for the $100 bill of that sufficiency. So this is just basically working on a primary effect of emotionability. So where you look like you have no insurance at one spot, you have insurance at another spot, which is in Mr. Catfish and More. And Mr. Catfish and More is a bigger environment of that. So that's pretty much why its rates have gone up since 1998 of 2022. They're just looking at the difference of between those types of characteristics, and looking at the difference between 100 and 30 hundredths, and being able to determine more of that characteristic for a simplified form of reduced tax. And that's pretty much where EcoLeaf gets its primary benefits from. That's other than the co-applicants that it uses that's in its industry. So that's basically a big come up for local, state, and PS5 coordinates. So that's basically goes on to EcoLeaf. There goes the EcoLeaf multi-platforms. And these are some of the things that it provides as we do the coordinate graph times the mode rate, and you can choose whichever one you feel would fill your time in, based off of how your business or how your repetition is going for yourself. And being able to use a lower grade could help sometimes, just because that is the prominent level that happens after 2018 of 2022. So you could be just starting a business like mine, but not particularly like mine. And that's pretty much in effect of MoneyGram. You can be with MoneyGram or yeah, I just know MoneyGram is one whole big one that we know of that we can get started with, and being able to have an economy for money based objectives, and more treaty games for it. It's basically where you're using a higher square root, and being able to use your coordinates for square root sizes. So that's pretty much where a lot of evaluation is taking place at, after the co-manager is working on stuff like that, and it's best where you're working on the co-manager's part of the time, which is 979 dimes of leisure and liability. So with that, you get a revenue tax, and what you're doing is, after you multiply these two factors together, you get a revenue tax of $98 times 98, and you got to multiply that up together, and being able to put a trans tax code in. 6717 is what that is. It's a big trans tax code. That's basically serving 455 different catfish fillet, and it's basically where you're subtracting the wholesale from the revenue tax that you made at EcoLeaf, and it's basically where you're using more towards a tax service to promote those adaptabilities. So that's working on $98,889 every 2 weeks. So that's basically how you get more notifications to that sponsorship. So all in all, it is a forward detail. You are going 60 miles an hour everywhere you go, and you just got to be able to pertain your lifestyle to your speed limits, and being able to incorporate yourself onto your Harabai code of acknowledgments of classifications and rankings, and being able to grade yourself upon that and classify yourself, and be able to comfort yourself within that stuff is pretty much where you're headed at the time. So all in all, my topics at Eco Herb, Eco Leaf, and PMC2 Squared, and Mr. Catfish and more, and the rest of my industries, most majority of the time, I'm talking about a nice luxury sport vehicle, as far as a BMW or a Lexus or a Maserati or a Audi. It's a good car. It runs up to about $105,000. That's basically the premium look of a vehicle. Couldn't go no higher than 650, 500,000. So we got it at $105,000, and that's pretty much how we make our basic sell from then on in, using EcoLeaf and PMC2 Squared. And it just works as a software update, engineering position in the mechanical fields, and we're just using more towards having overruled analysis, and being able to deal with economy boosts and tax reforms. And that's pretty much what that 6717 was that we seen. And it's basically making different tax reforms that you use as congressional law orders, or invoice, or bill statements, or bank statements, in those ranges of qualifications in the periodic table. and Declaration of Independence, a Bill of Rights, and Articles of Confederation. So, those are the things that you look at 1999 to 2050. And, you're getting bigger deals as far as knowing 12th grade from sophomore year in college. So, it's basically where you learn in 1994 and 2074 of December to September. And, you getting the holidays in as well as the seasons and the months and the weeks that come with those times along the MLK or Steve Harvey or, Ben Affleck or Adam Sandler. You going along with the coordinates that you normally use on your daily travel. So, it's basically all a part of world geography after you go watch movies or listen to music. You still in that iTunes world or in Google Maps or in Google Infomark at the time. So, you're using that coordinate 307 times. So you have to put a stack of dimes in there to promote that on EcoHerb, T-Mobile, and Comcast Grid. So you can promote statistics, being able to promote more for the classification and statistics and more towards department processing. So yeah, that's just about all we know for this moment as EcoHerb. EcoHerb characteristics promote us. So perpetually, all that detail is worth 23,430 in tens and twenties, and it's basically where you working on the bigger bill, being able to promote the detail. So, that's basically what goes along with bigger state after we know more about UTEP in West Texas in 1939 to 2032. And, that's basically where you're working on more reference notes to promote those details. So, that's basically where you're using a good trait of motivation, using a good trait of motivation, and you can feel that it's coming from a good part of time, so you interest more into it. So that's basically looking at a Lexus 2018, which is pretty much $100,005, $100,000, which is more of not 10 hundreds, not 20 hundreds, not 50 hundreds, but more of 100 hundreds at the time. So that's basically where you're using more of 1955 versus 2010, where you made 931 purchases as a dealership. So you should be able to take a fair simple amount after 931 centuries or decades has been transformed. And that's basically where I'm getting my DWL industry point, as far as knowing 9:31 a.m. in the morning at Restaurant Depot. And it's basically where we're using more of that acknowledgement of performance in that way. So that's just using a total of 98,830 in that popular demand. So that's basically how we promote those details as far as that go.